Well, hello, gang. It's Dr. Bruce, the Social Outcast. Have you had an opportunity to download that book yet, The Social Outcast? It's at thesocialoutcast.com. It's a very transparent discussion about my life. I kind of felt like I was standing naked in front of the profession when I looked at my first edit and I actually decided to print it. I tell stories of my strife, my troubles, my lack of getting it. And I tell you what I did to get out of it. And the result was, well, I think it's pretty good history. I developed 13 clinics and have an awesome life and had the life of my dreams, practicing chiropractic as I would love to practice it. Not as I'm supposed to practice it, not as I was told to practice it, but as I would love to practice it, having fun with it and making a great living, having lots of freedom. So the principles of practice transformation continue with Principle 8. I will reflect with joy on all past events and will see the blessings in them. That's why I wrote the book, The Social Outcast, because my first few years in practice were really bad. I came out of school, I was a successful guy. I was in the financial industry. I was doing very well. I had my pilot's license earned when I was 18 years old. I was racing cars when I was 20 years old. I bought my first house at 19 years old. I basically was a person that learned how to make things happen. And I was educated under chiropractic philosophy. And I referred tons of people before I ever went to chiropractic college. I was referring my friends and family. Although I also got to experience a challenge in that. I got to feel that trying to refer somebody to practice, they made a lot of fun of me. What's wrong with you? Going to get your back cracked for get rid of a cold? Are you kidding me? I mean, the responses were terrible, but for some reason, because I wasn't the doctor, it didn't bother me, and they could say what they wanted to say. I didn't care. I just told the truth. Well, when I came out of school and started trying to tell that same truth, when it was me they were rejecting, it came differently, and it tore me down. And as it tore me down, I realized, that I wanted to quit. And I didn't quit. I tried to survive for a while. I tried to kind of sell out my principles and survive in a certain way for a while. And then finally one day I said, no more. It's going to be the way, it's going to be my truth. And so read the book, but it comes down to this principle, because I can say this: chiropractic to me was the coolest thing that I had ever thought about doing. And when I came out of school, when I graduated, I'm not exaggerating. I was just like, I couldn't believe I was actually a chiropractor. Every day I said, oh my God, I'm a chiropractor. I can't believe it. I was so excited about it. And then for the next 3 years, I failed miserably. Failed. I mean, I'm borrowing money. I'm deep in debt. And then, because of all those things that got me deep in debt and got me depressed, I now look at them as blessings. It's opportunities that I got to experience, that I learned how to turn around. Experiences that I have that I can help others turn around from. If you've never had a problem, how can you help anybody? I mean, if you haven't learned how to get yourself out of a ditch, you can't teach how to get out of a ditch. If you've never struggled trying to get a new patient, you can't teach how to get a new patient. If you've never struggled how to get people to accept a treatment, a recommendation of care, you can't ever teach someone how to do a recommendation of care. I struggled with everything. And I built 13 clinics after I got it, and I got to experience dealing with associate doctors, how to make that thing work. People say that having an associate doctor, chiropractors eat their young. I heard this one, and you can't ever have a good relationship. They say there's horror stories about these associates. You know what? There are. I had some. And everyone's a blessing. I learned what did not work. But because of that, I learned what did work. So I'll say this once again. Reflect with joy on all your past events, and you will see the blessing in them. The ones that were bad are the best. When you reflect on your past positive events, there's not that many blessings. You just worked. But the real blessings sometimes come from failure. The law of responsibility, you are where you are because of what and who you are. The past does not equal the future. I love this one. Many people, you might have heard of somebody who I sold a practice, and this practice was very successful. And I was moving town, and I decided I should sell this practice. So I sold this practice, and it was successful. A person came in to buy it. The person that bought the practice had struggled and never made it in practice. And he was relocating and coming down, and his point of view was that he would buy my practice and then it was all done because it was already successful. And in a very short period of time, that practice was no longer successful. You see, what happened was he brought himself with him. He brought his past personal philosophies. He brought his past, negative ideas, his judgments, his things that didn't work in his other practice, and he applied them to a practice that was working, not because of the practice, but because of the operator. Brick and mortar does not build your practice. The location was good, but it didn't build the practice because when he left, the location no longer was doing its job, I guess. And then his girlfriend started spreading rumors around. And this is crazy. She said, that Parker guy, he has an uncanny ability to build a practice, but he knows right before it's going to crash, and then he sells it. Every time I say that, it's just laughable. In other words, that's the old story about if you see an elephant that's dead in the desert and there's a buzzard on it, you say, oh, the buzzard killed the elephant. And no, it didn't. The elephant died and the buzzard came. In this situation, I built that practice. It was doing very well. The doctor changed and the practice went down. So therefore, cause and effect. I don't care if you're very, very successful, you move into a failing practice, you'll turn it around in a matter of weeks. If you're unsuccessful, you move into a great practice, you'll blow it in a matter of weeks. You'll turn it down. So therefore, if right now you're in negative patterns, if your practice is not manifesting the way you want, forget about it. The past doesn't equal the future. Realize you can make a change. When you change, start making positive application. When you review these practice principles and realize how strong your thought process is. And then once you start visualizing things clearly and you're taking positive action, not worrying about the past, only visualizing the future, you'll have clear focus. Clear focus plus massive action. I say massive action. You can't build a practice 3 days a week and 4 days a week off. A lot of people are out there working that way, and they're telling me they want to have bigger practices, and they forgot that the guy that they modeled might have been in practice 6 days a week. A lot of practices are open 6 days a week, and they got a big enough practice momentum going that they decided they wanted to work less time because they wanted some time with their families, because they didn't know the total practice blueprint, didn't know how to do it properly. What they did was just put people on 3 days. They started coming in 3 days a week, and the practice usually doesn't grow after that. It takes massive action. Most people that are having these $1 million, $2 million practices, they're putting action towards it. The movie stars making $20 million a feature now. You think they just work once in a while? They work their tails off. They take massive action towards their character. They lose weight, gain weight, learn an accent, whatever it takes, because they're going to do this thing. That's how things get done. So you don't have to take massive action the rest of your life. The Total Practice Blueprint actually has a system designed to give you more freedom. But the freedom doesn't go away from responsibility. And you'll learn about more of it as we go on. But in the meanwhile, understand, clear focus, seeing the vision you want, taking massive action. Get out there, make things happen, get yourself known in the community. You're going to have your desired results. I've really enjoyed talking with you these past few weeks. And this is Dr. Bruce saying, I'll see you on your next visit.